Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zone's new Who Zone. We're here for the name of the Doctor. Yeah, as I said in the earlier video, just before we wrapped up on that video, live stream, I should say. Yeah, there was a bit of rumblings in the fandom at the time, I remember, because everybody thought that Moffat was going to reveal the name of the Doctor. So it did actually cause quite a stir. Of course, we seen how the story panned out, but I'm not doing this alone. Of course, we do have our panel with us tonight. So without further ado, let us introduce our guest. This is the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody. Are we all ready to get emotional?
That's it. Oh, we're gonna need the hankies. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Next on our list is the one and only PD Rich.
His name is the Doctor.
The Doctor. Next, we've got the one and only Problem Being.
Oi, oi.
And just to let you know, there's a lot of people on Twitter. Might as well say it live. A lot of people on Twitter showing some love and support towards you at this time for everything that's happened. So and Gobby was one of those guys. So as he's in the chat.
Hello,
so
Gobby, mate.
Just thought I'd say, but you have received a lot of support on Twitter. That has to be said. It's unfair what's happened, but look, we'll leave that for another time. We are here for
thank you very much.
Doctor Who, and we just, as we said, we're here to take our mind off all the horrible things. So here we go. The one and only real Super Doctor is here as well.
Hey.
Hello.
So guys,
How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Yourself, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad.
That's good. Listen, I was going to ask you, so obviously, as I was talking about earlier, I don't know where you guys were at the time, where you were in the fandom, what platforms you were using, but I remember this causing a bit, the name itself, the episode caused a bit of a furore. Do you guys remember that, or is it too far?
No, I can remember. It was almost like a fear. I can remember, because Moffat was known, especially at this point, to very much push the boundaries of what he could get away with. So you were I remember with myself, I was in two minds. I was like, oh, he's not going to do it, surely. And then another voice
call me Shirley.
me, yeah. And then another voice was like, but it's Moffat. And it's coming near the end of the series, and he likes to have a big shock reveal.
He does. But I think we can all safely say, though, even though you have said, he went very close to the boundaries, I don't think he really crossed the line, to be honest.
He didn't. He was very careful.
Yeah.
In hindsight, you can now see that he was very careful.
Yeah. Any of you other guys got anything to add before we start tonight?
Yes, I can remember the Twitter post. It's I am Foreman.
Yeah, I remember that.
He did about 6 months later after it. He's like, oh yeah, his name's I am Foreman. It's written on the door. It's alias. And John Smith.
Fun.
He just kept releasing these weird Twitter posts. It was funny.
It is funny when you do look back.
Everyone's getting so irate. Yeah, everyone's getting so irate. And 8 months later, 6 to 8 months later, he started releasing weird Twitter posts about the name. Like, it's John Smith. It's I am Foreman. Sorry, John, interrupting you there.
Well, I can remember that the Gallifrey base was in hysteria at that time. I can remember that it was all the speculation, and I thought Moffat. Is Moffat really going to do this? Is Moffat going to reveal the name of the Doctor? Is it going to be? Is it going to be that stupid and just do it? You know what I mean? Is he going to ruin the show? Or
I'm surprised Chibnall hasn't done it yet.
Yeah,
probably coming.
And then I saw the episode, and I thought it was a really good episode. I loved how they get, how they did have Colin Baker going down one of the TARDIS corridors, and Patrick Troughton running in that, and Paul McGann in his original costume in that, and for a wee cameo in that, and I thought it was really good how they done it in that, and how they got the old footage of William Hartnell into it as well. And how they managed to kind of get it ready for the kind of format that it is, because there's two different formats the original film footage of. I don't know what Doctor Who episode it actually came from, but they managed to get Jenna Louise Coleman to kind of interact with it, and it kind of worked out pretty great.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I just at that point, this was the start of me hating Clara. Though, like, this was the proper start of me being like, "Oh God, Moffat, like, stop making us too important." This was the start of it for me.
You see, that's the thing that gets up my nose is how they're making the companions that glorified and important and a part of the Doctor's life, and like they think that they're golden or something like that, and they think that they're that
not
gifted.
Supposed to be that, are they?
No, they're supposed to
be
just,
our eyes and ears.
It's supposed to be that they have thrown themselves upon the Doctor's adventures and like that, and they're uncertain about this character, and it's just like the 2018 series. I mean, how did Bradley Walsh's character just accept the Doctor for what she is and all that, and aliens and all that, and I mean, without freaking out or anything like that?
Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work.
Yeah. Right, we've got the ones in the chat, so everybody is ready to go. Is everybody on the panel ready to go?
Yeah. Just want to thank everyone in the chat as well. Don't go out on a limb out there for me. The hashtag thing is lovely. I don't think it needs to happen. All you really need to do is stand against homophobia from trans activism, which is effectively becoming extremely homophobic on Twitter, and target Twitter, not them. Target Twitter for supporting this kind of thing. That's all I wanted to say. But thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And without further ado, and the good words there, by the way, and he is right. You know, it is lovely to do the hashtags and stuff, but at the end of the day, the platform itself,
target the corporation. Don't go after individuals, but go after Twitter for supporting an ideology which is fundamentally homophobic and misogynist as well.
That's the platform itself. That's where they need to change. Anyway, let's do it anyway. Queen Charlotte, if you would like to do the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And I'm actually watching it on my DVD, so no problems now.
Yeah.
Unless the fucking subtitles are on.
I love this beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. And then obviously the shot we get. I always loved it when we saw Gallifrey. Oh, the music. I forgot how good the music was in this until I watched it again today.
Yeah.
Because it's what I love about Murray's music in this one is it's there and it's beautiful, but it's understated for him, I think.
Yeah. You still get goosebumps after all those years seeing this. I still get goosebumps.
Yeah.
I still don't like this saying because it's like I always like the idea that the Doctor and the TARDIS chose each other.
Clara now being the reason behind the TARDIS. It was just like I said, this start of me really seeing her being overstated and overimportant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have minded it maybe if it was just this sort of stuff now, where she's just sort of there, she's not doing a lot of interfering.
Yeah. Well, I love that scene where Troughton's running.
Yeah.
It really
I was with you, the TARDIS scene where I was just like, Moffat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were.
Yeah, the impossible girl.
I'm getting above my station.
Yep. I mean, it makes every companion in the past at least important than her.
Exactly.
She's the only one that's important, and I don't get it. I mean, there's been loads of companions.
She's getting a bit, what you might call it, a bit like Rey from Star Wars. She's the bestest ever.
The only logic I can think is, at this point, Moffat had been getting it in the neck from all the feminist idiots.
Yeah.
And this was him overcompensating because of that.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great explanation.
Probably one of his reasons he left Twitter.
Oh yeah, it probably was. But the more I think about the Clara situation, I just think they got in his head, and this was him trying to give them something to shut them up.
Yeah.
BBC's got a habit of doing that, though, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Vestra.
I like. I can never say a name. I like her though. I do like a character.
Yeah. I do like the Paternostra?
Yeah.
Paternostra, Paternostra gang. I quite like them. I
wish they had a series.
They would have had a good series.
I like the minus Strax. I like
Strax. It's kind of the Worf for the Paternostra gang. Worf in Next Generation of Deep Space Nine. That's why I kind of like him.
Yeah.
Gets things completely wrong, gets thrown across the room a lot.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like him in general, but I do like the joke in this episode at the beginning with him. Because I'm like, Strax would go to that place and would just love it and would get in fights when you see where he is in a minute.
Samurai swords being displayed wrong. Sorry. Bit of a stickler for that.
Yeah.
You display the blades upwards because that way you don't damage the scabbards.
Yeah, I do find this bit funny. Where it's like, he's actually in Glasgow. Getting into pub fights.
Well, at least he's getting to fight. See, I love this scene.
I do love this scene because it's not Strax being made an idiot. It actually makes sense for a Sontaran to do this.
Actually, it does look like a kind of bar that would be in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a couple of bars in Glasgow.
And I love the way he says in a minute, "Oh, Archie, will you just knock me out?" So you know they've had multiple fights, these two, at this point.
Yeah.
Fine.
It might take a while. Oh, we love Potato Head.
Well, these are the same chairs that they use in around the table at Gallifrey.
Probably.
Yeah, these have been Star Trek times as well. They're a well-known style. Like every sci-fi movie uses them.
Desktop.
Oh, come on. This episode is full of fan service.
Yeah. I think
she should have had reptile contact lenses, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a bit used to Strax after a while. Oh, the Sifley.
How's she so capable of making stuff without making a mess?
Because she's Clara.
Of course.
Go on, give her a millennial line. Millennial. Souffles are so 20th century. He'll knock you unconscious.
Yeah, this is what I like about Vastra. Like, she's so prepared and is always on top of stuff.
Yeah.
But she's not smug about it. That's the difference. And you can tell she really cares about Jenny.
Yeah.
Which does give her a lot of dimensions in a character.
See, even with Moffat, he could write characters, unlike Chris Chibnall could. He could weave them into the storyline, but he could overdo it, like he overdone River Song. But
yeah,
oh, there she is.
He's not good at writing sci-fi in general. He's just terrible at it.
Yeah.
I was thinking today, watching this again, I think this is probably the last time I properly enjoyed River.
Yeah.
Because after this, when she got insufferable.
Did she appear after this? I thought she only appeared once after this.
No, well, she had a couple of appearances in Capaldi's run, didn't she?
Yeah.
I thought just one at the end.
No, she had a special. And then she did some stuff with Clara when it was, I can't remember what season it was.
Yeah.
She's definitely been, you could tell she didn't have as many appearances, PD. She was definitely winding down, but she did have a few more after this.
Yeah. I think they should have brought Captain Jack back with Capaldi. I think it would have worked better.
Moffat apparently stopped it. John has spoke about it at cons. It was Moffat who was blocking him from coming back.
I really want to know why he was doing that, because River was getting tired. Yeah, he didn't want Torchwood back either.
Yeah, he just seemed to really, which is funny because he technically created Jack. So it's like, why would you have to?
Yeah.
I know, that was weird. It was like he just didn't want anything. It was like he had to have this kind of rivalry with Russell T Davies at the time. It was weird.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah.
I do love the design of the Whisper Men. So creepy. Moffat was good at creepy designs, though.
Yeah. He was good at the biological and the fantasy.
You can see what it means with River's face then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy.
It's beautiful sport. Even then, he has a funny line.
Yeah. Speak to us, boy.
Great intelligence.
Yeah, and great casting.
Yeah.
Really great casting.
I love Richard E. Grant.
Yeah. Still a good spot over the Ninth Doctor, wasn't he?
No night, Melina. Thank you for coming.
Oh, night, Melina. Night, love. Thank you.
Oh, this is the last time you see Matt happy in this episode.
Yeah, I know.
But you can see the instant switch, and it's like I forgot how good he was, and it's one of his best performances. I legitimately think this episode.
The Little Daleks.
This scene with Matt Smith is just heartbreaking, but his acting range here, it's just.
Yeah, and he doesn't say a word. Not when he breaks. He's talking now, but as soon as Clara fully looks at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little bit emotional when I saw that because I thought the fact that maybe this is kind of leading up to his regeneration.
And I was trying to think back. Did we know at this point he was going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Pretty sure we did, didn't we?
Because I think it wasn't long before that Peter Capaldi had been announced as the 12th Doctor.
Yeah, they had that episode, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they had it live on television. Who's going to be the next Doctor?
Yeah. So I went, Malcolm effing Tucker, are you mad?
I was like when Peter Capaldi was cast as the Doctor. I mean, I just punched the air. I just went.
He's a good actor, though. He is a good actor.
I mean, I said, thank God it isn't somebody that wouldn't be suitable for the role of the Doctor.
Yeah, that the press were talking about at the time. There were some really bad choices floating about.
Yeah.
Capaldi's a great actor.
Oh man, I so just want something of this level acting again.
Yeah.
Because he just has this sense of dread. There's no other word for it about him now.
He's running from his own death again.
You can sense so many things. He's scared. He's dread. Like this dread of facing it, but he's trying to put on a face and be brave.
Yeah, that's kind of thing I didn't like about this episode. It's a bit Impossible Astronaut again, though, if you know what I mean. It's like he was trying to avoid his...
Oh, Lee's just said the official announcement of Matt leaving wasn't made until after this episode went out.
Oh.
That's a point, yeah.
Yeah.
It was after Day of the Doctor, wasn't it? They made
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, because I remember the Capaldi thing got everybody by surprise, the little cameo he had.
Yeah.
Like the John Hurt one at the end of this.
It was just before Day of the Doctor. It was just before Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, in the back of my head, I was thinking we didn't know yet, because I remember just watching this and it felt like...
Yeah, but we knew he was leaving, didn't we?
They did it because of Day of the Doctor. They had to, because they knew we were going to give it away.
Because he said it was going.
Site down for me.
Oh.
I can't watch it anymore.
Of course the TARDIS is against it.
Wibbly
Music in
wobbly
this episode is excellent.
Oh, error 502, bad gateway.
Yeah. Does a time streamer have gateways like the internet?
Maybe I'll need to refresh.
What's 501e space?
Oh, come on, Doctor. You know it's never going to be anything like that.
No, you're going to be a great curator of a great museum.
Yeah. That's the happy thought.
Who knows? Eh? Who knows? Ow. I hope they jumped when they hit the ground.
Yeah,
the TARDIS even cracked a bit.
Oops.
That's supposed to be rubbish, isn't it? If you falling in a lift, you jump when you hit the bottom.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're technically being free fall.
Yeah, because the momentum's still travelling with you.
Yeah. The positive thing is there's very little chance of hitting terminal velocity.
The best thing to do if you're in a lift is not to jump, to lay flat on your back.
Yeah.
So
knock out the fat guy and jump on him.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the fattest? Punch.
Because if you spread your surface area out along the floor of the lift, then you're less likely to.
Yes, it's a bit like the RAF. They have the seats backwards in their passenger jets because they crash land front first. It absorbs the shock. Similar principle. Yeah.
What else would they bury you in?
Yeah.
Sudoku, I love that image as well. That's why I would think they'd never do it, but I think a clever way to start whatever Russell does is to have somebody come across an old, broken down TARDIS. And that can be a starting point for an episode.
It's not a library. It is a library. Doorbell.
You're what? Yes, Clara. You've been technically flirting with a married bloke.
The Giants all over again. He meant men.
It's a good thing, like, she wasn't killed by stabbing or something like that, wasn't it? It was just a heart thing.
Yeah.
Thought that watching this again, I was like, lucky.
Your pet.
It is sort of amazing that it took them this long to cast Richard as a villain, because he's just the perfect actor for that sort of stuff.
Should have been the
alternate Doctor. Yeah. Oh, sorry, alternate ninth Doctor. I keep saying 8th.
Does anybody get a timestamp?
21, 30,
22 minutes, probably by the time you get it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And the Valeyard gets a mention in this one.
Oh yeah, Moffat at this point loved to drop Valeyard, but never do anything with it.
Yeah, I was expecting him to do something with that, and I thought he was going to bring back the Valeyard.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the character
for the last Matt Smith
Yeah,
episode.
I thought that's who John Hurt's character was going to be, the Valeyard.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I love this description because the Doctor is at this point blood soaked.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Here we go, all the names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I have to say, there's some good effects in this.
Yeah, some gorgeous.
Yeah, just not at the very start. That was pretty.
Yeah.
Some gorgeous scenery as well. Just the sets and the stuff that is the planet when it's CG, I think still looks quite good.
It's great that the TARDIS is actually breaking down and expanding and all that. And
yeah.
It's a little bit like Frontios in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this has a lot of classic vibes because it gives me like Loboto. I can never say the Tom's last story. It reminds me of Tom's last story a little bit.
Logopolis.
Entropy. Yeah.
So
the theme of entropy.
Hugh Grant is trending. Doctor Who is trending.
Yeah, they want him to doctor, don't they?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if half the tweets are certain people screaming that it can't be him.
Oh, they are. Yeah. There's one saying why the Doctor can't be another ugly white male.
Because Clara's remembering. I forgot she'd forgotten.
Yeah.
That it'd all been put away, those memories. Here we go. This is the moment when we all panicked watching it the first time.
Yep.
Because it really feels like he's about to say it near the end of this little bit.
It's Theta Sigma.
Yeah, I was actually playing it over and over again, see if I could hear anything.
Yeah.
What River whispered.
Oh yeah, but we criticise Moffat for his cop outs at times, but I think this was a pretty clever tease, and the fact that of course River would know it, so have her say it but not actually say it on screen, so you still resolve the issue.
Yeah.
But you don't give away the name.
Yeah.
And then the secret became the fact that this was his death. This was his grave. That was the secret, not the name. So Moffat, when he was clever, he was very good at sort of yanking our chains and making us do one thing. And then it actually turned out to be something different.
Well, as John Pertwee's Doctor had once said that his name was unpronounceable to humans, I think it was because it was in a different kind of, maybe a different kind of pitch and sound or something like that.
Gallifreyan, wouldn't it?
Gallifreyan.
Even just to look at that language, it looks like just symbols to us.
Yeah.
So, no, we probably
it should be Doctor What, not Doctor Who.
Yeah, but Doctor Who sounds better.
I know, but dramatically.
And you can say it really dramatically, like Moffat loved to do at this point.
Was that the answer then?
Well, the answer is River knows. That's your answer.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Matt's face here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows the grey intelligence isn't going to let him get out of this. He knows it's going to some degree of torture or pain, whatever is in store for him.
Yeah, I was getting the Legopolis vibes as well because of the ivy climbing all over everything like that.
And the cloister bell, and really
the cloister
vibes.
Bell.
Yeah.
I love this idea. Of course, the Doctor wouldn't have a body because he's had so many. This is a brilliant idea of Moffat's. It would be a time stream. It would be this idea of his just essence almost.
Yeah.
Tell you one thing I didn't like about this episode while Day of the Doctor is they don't show how they escaped Legion.
Shall I destroy them?
Yeah.
So basically, this is the Doctor's life force, and all of his past incarnations all merged into one kind of entity.
I see it as a mixture of his life force and his timeline, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like
there's no matrix to absorb it into. That's why. So it's just here in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Oh, now we hear the voice
from Gallifrey to Trenzalore. Nothing prior to Gallifrey, and if that's his entire timeline.
This episode is such a massive thing of if you can't have this in this episode be canon and the Chibnall stuff. This episode just completely obliviates it.
Yeah.
So when people talk about disrespecting Chibnall's era by retconning his retcon, I say, well, you can't have it one of both. You can have it one of both ways. Either his is legitimate or this is. I know which one I prefer.
But it's even more of a better argument because we do see a hidden Doctor in it.
Yeah.
We do see somebody who wasn't part of the television line. So it's been established that hidden Doctors are existing in purely the form of John Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would see Ruth, you would see all these other Doctors in this timeline.
Yeah.
It's not a memory issue that would block them out because because the Doctor doesn't class John Hurt as the Doctor, so that would be like the equivalent of a memory block.
And I actually thought that Matt Smith was going to degenerate into all these old incarnations. They were all going to start to appear right in front of him.
Yes, I think maybe they had more of a budget. They could have got away with that. The best they can do is the stuff we're seeing now.
It's complete fan service at this point. Moffat was just trying to kind of tease the fans with a lot of stuff and all that.
Oh yeah,
and that I kind of like, but he didn't go too far with it, and he knew that there was limits with what you could actually do with the Doctor's character because you didn't really want to kind of spoil
Still stuck
it.
within the thingy time frame, didn't he?
Yeah,
within the frames of the franchise. Didn't change anything. Reinterpreted a few things.
And I remember seeing that moment when John Hurt got revealed, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
and
I was the same.
I saw all the Day of the Doctor photographs that people had been taking of him in the set, and they were claiming it was the Ninth Doctor, and I thought, "Oh, is Moffat going to wipe out the Christopher Eccleston incarnation?"
Yeah.
So there was a lot of kind of problems with that.
Yeah.
That it kind of brought up.
Well, yeah, he realised he just killed the other killed all the regenerations, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he had to fix it.
Oh, Strax has been put into factory settings.
Yeah.
Hi, Todd, it's time.
Right.
And then she kind of realizes that she'll just have to go in there to save the Doctor.
Yeah.
No, in fairness to her, I'll give it to her.
Really, it's a proper sacrifice on her part.
Like,
yeah. But she gets above her station after it.
Well, no, I just think like I said, it's good for Clara's character, but I didn't like the ramifications. That's the best way I can phrase it.
Yeah.
And it made sense as the resolution, and it would save the Doctor in this moment. But it just, like I said, I think honestly, if Moffat hadn't done the whole TARDIS scene, I probably would have been a lot better with it. But it was that. And then the little bits I saw before of Clara being given more importance, and I was just like, oh no.
This stuff I liked, but I didn't like the fact that in Listen that she went back into the Doctor's past.
Yeah, she
as a
way
child,
too much saving Clara's did throughout her time.
Hid under his bed, grab his legs. You know, I thought that was just a wee bit kind of too much. I mean, there is a kind of boundary that you must. One rule you must really not do with Doctor Who is go into its past and try and rewrite everything that made this show. Because it's got to be a kind of mystery. It's got to be like a kind of enigma. You can't know too much about this character.
That's why it's called Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's
supposed to know.
That's right.
It's in the name. It's not called the Timeless Child.
No. See, I think it was just a little bit over the top, this.
Yeah, but that's all these Victoria, Clara, this version, they're all echoes of the Clara that we're seeing now, basically.
Yeah, and at least Moffat
so he's walking backwards again, like, you know.
Yeah, and at least Moffat actually answered his big sort of mystery of the series here.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then she's guiding him to the TARDIS that he should steal. I mean, that's another thing.
Now, in fairness, if this scene wasn't included,
that's what
I don't mind the rest. I don't mind the rest that she happened to be there to save him from shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was just that. I don't like that. The Doctor and the TARDIS chose each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah, Doctor's wife said it.
Oh,
I mean, there should have been like a telepathic calling between the Doctor and this TARDIS, because this TARDIS wanted to steal him, not the other way around. Exactly. It was stealing him to run away, to do all this stuff, because there was so much problems in the universe.
Unless
that needed
Simeon directed him to that TARDIS.
Yeah,
I do love this scene.
Yeah, I got emotional watching this.
Oh yeah.
Might be what it is, but it's so subtle, isn't it?
Yeah, he really thought he's not clicked her for the whole of this episode, and then he reveals he was hearing her the whole time.
Yeah.
They're into tune.
And I think once again, this is actually showing Moffat one of his strengths is grief. He can write about grief very well, because this is him saying how he didn't want to acknowledge her in a way, because that meant he was acknowledging her end.
Yeah.
And you've got a good actor in Matt Smith, and you've got Alex Kingston, and I mean, it's like platonic.
I don't like all this bit.
Yeah, but did you notice it was the first time that he kissed someone without being awkward?
Yeah.
Yeah, still, but you know.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, I don't believe in the romance element myself, but look, it was part of it, so we just...
And I'll admit, at the beginning, I didn't see the chemistry, but at this point, I was seeing the chemistry.
Yeah.
At first, they came across almost too much like brother and sister.
Yeah.
But at this point, it was like, yeah, he adores her.
But really, because the Doctor is this Time Lord, this infinitely being lives a long time, and you know it's going to be heartbreaking to him, because he's going to see people wither and die. And it was mentioned in I think the Sarah Jane story. School reunion. Yeah. That he couldn't have relationships because of that.
And River is a good example of that, because he kept hold of her way beyond what he should have. And that's why I like this thing of her saying, like, say it like you'll see me again. So he's not having to say those words, because River knows he can't physically say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
So he'll disguise it, and that's good enough. And she knows what he's meaning, but he can't physically say it.
Yeah.
This does have an epic ending, though.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw that scene, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, because from my memory, it didn't leak about John Hurt, did it? Before the episode
went out? It did. Well, not really, but it kind of did in Gallifrey base, because people were posting location shoots.
But in the public, it hadn't got out.
Yeah.
No.
Because I've got no memory of knowing this was going to happen. I don't know, back then I wasn't on so much of the active internet fandom, but I did remember still big enough news stories would come out about who was possibly going to be cast and that. And from my memory, this got kept secret.
And when I saw this, I saw the first Doctor running, and it looked awful like Richard Hurndall's Doctor at the time.
Well, it's your own fault, you stupid cow. You made yourself impossible.
No.
Like, this would have been a good way for her
to go.
For her to go, actually, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did find this scene a bit over the top, but this was Moffat giving us the fan service.
Yeah, and it was the 50th anniversary year as well, you've got to remember.
Yeah.
It was like all those possibilities all coming together. Like Moffat's going to there's going to be a big budget for the 50th, and he's going to manage to try and recreate all the Doctors and put them all together and that. And you know, it never turned out like that.
Yeah.
Well, to hear Moffat talk about it in the last couple of years, it was almost rushed in a sense. But when it came to writing the script, which I'll never understand. Like, how did you end up almost rushing it?
I really can't believe
he overstretched himself.
Yeah.
He overstretched himself. He was still doing Sherlock, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he was doing other stuff behind the scenes, class as well. Even though he had nothing to actually do with class, though he was behind it in a certain capacity. This scene was just epic.
And you got to applaud Jenna's acting in this.
Yeah. Oh no, Jenna's a great actress. This is it.
Oh.
Nobody knew what was coming.
I can remember thinking, oh, who's that? Like, I can't tell who it is because they're not showing the face.
I actually knew who it was, but the fact is that because the stuff was leaking on Gallifrey base, and I knew exactly who it was, but I just didn't know it was the reveal. It just gave me the chills.
Yeah.
It was just an epic moment in this episode.
And here's the explanation: the idea of the name being a promise.
Yeah.
And there we go. Then I was like, oh God, this is going to make you lot laugh. Do you know what my thought was? Oh, it's the dragon from Merlin.
Yeah.
And then, because that was what I knew John Hurt from at the time.
I just love the way the titles come up here, though.
Yeah.
It still gives me that vibe. That
I'm watching it now. It still makes the Joe Martin thing look like a pale comparison.
Yeah, it really does.
And
this is the way it should be done.
Let's see if they give a trailer for the 50th on this disc. I don't know if they do, but
no,
as I said, the anniversary special was the next one. So, yeah. Oh, man. That's actually not as bad. That's actually very good.
Yeah.
I still don't like the Clara stuff. I'm going to be honest. So, for that reason, I'm going to knock a point off. But overall, that was a very enjoyable story. And Matt Smith, I mean, those scenes with Jenna are just brilliant, actually. No, there was no trailer. I'm pissed off now about that. Anyway, yeah. Look, as I said, that's the only problem I have with it. Strax, we've got that comedy relief. I think he's very good. The River song, back again. I don't know how people felt about that, but I mean, she wasn't annoying, so I suppose that's something. Just leave people dead, Moffat. At this stage, I was shouting at the screen. But yeah, very enjoyable story. So 9 out of 10. It gets the docked point because of the whole Clara stuff. I still don't like it. For me, the Doctor and the TARDIS basically chose each other, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like to think of this.
But as I said, she's probably undoing what Dr. Simeon was done. He probably directed her to the wrong TARDIS.
Probably too, yeah.
Fucked something up, and so she had to fix it.
Actually, that's a good point to make.
That's what I kind of worked out in the end, yeah.
Well, go on, PD. As I've given me rating anyway. So as you've started anyway, you might as well continue. So, what are your thoughts on this episode, and what would you give it out of 10?
Quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot better than I did before. I felt it was a good episode in general, but there's a couple of little points. One of the big points is in Day of the Doctor. They did not pick up. How the hell did they get off Trenzalore? That's my biggest pet hate. All you see is John Hurt, and they walk away, and it's like, how did they escape the lesion? How did they get off Trenzalore? Because all you see in the beginning of Day of the Doctor is they're back on Earth. It's like, well, how did they get there? Why? I think that's my biggest pet hate of this episode in general. But I quite liked it. Yeah, I can understand why people got a bit annoyed with Clara. She did get a bit above her station in this one. This was the start of school teacher Clara, as we like to call her, which comes in season 8. So yeah, I give it 8.5. I enjoyed it, but there's a few little loose ends I never tied up, and I found that really, really annoying.
Yeah, Moffat had a habit of doing that.
Oh yeah, that's just leaving Moffat. Heartbeat, mate.
That's it. Real Super Doctor.
I really like this episode. I really like the fact that they got the old footage from the 60s and kind of woven it in, and the whole Clara thing. I think it was overdone, but I think this one was nicely done, and I think they should have just left it there. You know, they shouldn't have have went any further with Clara. I think they should have just kind of left that there. Right, she's an impossible girl. She's done that. Just leave it at that. Nothing further. Maybe she should have left after the Day of the Doctor, and there should have been a new companion. A new companion for Capaldi at least, and the new companion would see the regeneration of Matt into Capaldi, and it would have taken off from there. But I think that story was very ambitious. It certainly had the money to do what they wanted to do with it. I do like the fact that there's the emotional tie to the Doctor's death. The Doctor's secret in the name was just been teased. I knew that they wouldn't reveal the Doctor's name. For the fact is, because they wouldn't want to spoil the show, because the show is just based upon the two words Doctor Who, and you could see that the Moffat was teasing that throughout his entire run, the Doctor Who thing and that, and you could see it in 2012 and that, and Matt reveling in it, the mystery of his own enigma. But I really like the characters he brought into this. He brought Jenny, Strax, and Vastra, and they were quite good in it as well. And I like that the Dr. Simeon back, because the performances that he brought were quite good. Richard E. Grant, I thought he would have been a potential Doctor for a long time. But it's sad that he never got to kind of actually play the Doctor on screen, but it was just that animation School of the Shalka. But I quite like the all leading up to the John Hurt reveal, and I thought that was the best, that kind of cliffhanger at the end, where you see the reveal of John Hurt, and then the titles coming up, John Hurt as the Doctor, and I thought that kind of cements it for a Day of the Doctor, and kind of got my hype up for that anniversary special. But I did like although that some of the scenes where Jenna Louise Coleman's character added to classic scenes, they didn't work too well. But what I liked was the fact that they managed to put her in the Five Doctors footage, and with John Pertwee driving along. I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
I thought that Patrick Troughton and the taking the Patrick Troughton running from the Five Doctors and inserted that into another scene with Jenna Louise Coleman. I thought that was well done. I thought that Paul McGann's character rushing past her was quite well done. I thought that the scenes and the if you could call it it was like a kind of mental dream sequence of seeing the past Doctors in the timeline. I thought that was well done. You saw the Fourth Doctor, you saw the First Doctor running, but we didn't get to see anything else other than that. But I thought that was well done in that. And the Sixth Doctor, early on, going down the corridor, you could see him passing down the corridor like that.
Yeah,
that was really well done.
Yeah.
I would give this a 9 out of 10 because it's certainly an ambitious, moment for Stephen Moffat to kind of introduce the impossible, that getting that old footage woven into it, and managing to kind of keep all that together and because the 50th anniversary was coming up, it was just the perfect episode just to kind of lead into it.
Lee.
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, it's I like the concept. I like the idea of the Doctor's grave and the TARDIS being this TARDIS that's become a gravestone that's sort of almost sort of turning inside out. I'd like to have seen that expanded upon more, really explored more than the sort of Paternoster gang thing, which, I like Strax as a comical character, but I still don't like the idea of it being a Sontaran being sort of turned into a comedy vessel, particularly. Yeah, the River Song thing's sort of pushing it over the edge for me a little bit with the pulling at the heartstring. It just feels very manufactured to me, and I think like Clara could have gone in this episode. I think River Song should just have been sort of dealt with at this point. Great performances from Richard E. Grant and from Matt Smith. Clara sort of walking the line between annoying and integral. Great monsters, the sort of pallbearer, what they call? I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, the Whispermen.
Oh, Whispermen.
Yeah. Which, like in typical Moffat style, sort of appear there as the sort of henchmen, and then sort of when they've served their purpose, disappear. It's almost like a Chibnallism, actually. And the great reveal of John Hurt, which, we couldn't really understand what really was going on, but, I still don't adhere to the War Doctor idea. I think it should have been Paul McGann if Eccleston wasn't going to do it. But hey, that's history. Great to see the old Doctors there. I think they sort of did overdo the sort of running about a little bit. The CGI was very naff. I see what they were trying to do. It was quite brave of them to do it. And, I take my hat off to them, especially in 2013.
That's it.
And on that budget, it's not easy to weave those kind of things in. As a story, it's clearly just a vehicle to get from point A to point B, to get to the special. So it's just there to sort of tacked on at the end of the season to see us into the special. And if you think about it, not really a lot happens. Great Intelligence wants revenge for some reason after all these years. Gets revenge and goes into his timeline and starts fiddling around with it, and then Clara goes in, and that's why she's the impossible girl, and that's that mystery box resolved. It's the mystery box theater thing, which has become such a trope. Yeah, it kind of leaves me cold. I mean, I see what it's trying to do to make me sort of emotionally connect with it, but my more cynical aspect says, nah, not falling for it. Still infinitely better than the entirety of the Chibnall era. But as a sort of episode by itself, I'll give it a 6.5.
Fantastic. And Queen Charlotte?
Yeah, I'll just say there's no point pretending. I'm very biased about this episode because it's such a personal story about 11 and sort of him meeting his end and dealing with that, and the theme of the Doctor previously would run away from anything he didn't really want to face, especially in New Who. That was sort of a trend they established, and I just think the fact that because of his friends being there, because of the Great Intelligence and the trap, he's having to face it. And I just think Matt's performance, you see how much this is affecting him and how much. And I sort of really loved at this point that obviously I knew that the 50th was going to be this big, probably action, sort of everything going a bit berserk sort of story. And I love that we sort of had this slightly less low-key story in a sense for Matt, that it was a bit more quiet and a bit more intimate with the idea of, like I said, Trenzalore and what that meant. And then on top of that, you had I liked how River was dealt with, because she wasn't too overreaching. She didn't overtake the plot, and River sort of fed into what 11 was going through, which is he didn't want to face his end, but he also didn't want to face the end with River. And it was sort of these two things that were heavily emotional for him having to deal with. And like I said, I adore that. When I watched it today, I was almost crying in bits when he sees her, because, like I said, Moffat, when he wrote about grief, and I think Heaven Sent is also a really good example of this, he comes across to me as either somebody who has had to deal with grief in his life. I don't know his personal life, but it just comes across to me, his writing, that he either has dealt with it or he knows people, because it's so, I think, sensitive how he deals with it. Because with the idea of the Doctor seeing her the whole way through that episode, and then only sort of saying anything right at the end, and it's sort of feeding, like I said, into this arc of him not being able to sort of let River go, and River sort of having to force him at that moment. But because she doesn't really want to say goodbye, they're both sort of pretending. And I think that's a very sort of thing that you can identify with and see. And it's a very human trait, I want to say. So when you see it with the Doctor, it's just sort of, I think for me it hits and it really works. I can see why for some people it wouldn't. Like I said, Murray Gold's music, I forgot how good it was this episode, because it's there, it's noticeable, but I think to sort of suit, like I said, this feeling of this episode of being low key almost. Yeah. It's not the usual bombastic Murray Gold. It's sort of, it's there, and it's very more orchestral pieces he does for this, and it sort of is just there for the emotional beats, and then it goes away again.
I hate Clara's theme though. I just think it's so cheesy.
Yeah, but it's not too much in this. I love the Doctor. I see it as all the music that plays in regards to the Doctor here, because like I said, with Matt's performance, you see that emotion, but I think the music is also helping to sort of go with this theme of regret, dread, running away, and having to face things you really don't want to face. Richard E. Grant, I think he's brilliant as the intelligence and the sort of cruelty of him to say, I'm going to go in your time stream and I'm going to tear you apart bit by bit. I love it when a Doctor Who villain can get that sort of nasty. And it is really horrible what he does to the Doctor. So, yeah, I'll give this a 9. Because, like I said, I agree with the Clara. I don't need to repeat it. Noel basically said what I think about the TARDIS scene. Even with PD sort of, or Real Super Doctor's explanation, I still think it felt not right. And I still think it does feel like, for all the stuff Moffat was very careful about with this episode, that felt like that was one moment when he did overstep the line, and he shouldn't have had that. So yeah, I'll give this a 9. Like I said, 1 point off for the Clara stuff, but all the stuff I talked about I loved, I just think is amazing and done some of the best writing Moffat's done.
Fantastic. Right, before we do go, obviously I'd be remiss if I didn't ask your opinions on the latest rumor. Obviously Hugh Grant's name has been heavily linked after the tabloids went with a story saying that an insider has said that he is Dr. 14 now, and the result of that is he is trending on Twitter, and so is Doctor Who. But briefly, guys, because obviously a lot of you did comment in the last video in the chat, but if you could let me know what you think, if true, and they want to get Hugh Grant, and if he does become the 14th Doctor, how would you feel about that? We'll start with you, Charlotte.
I when I saw the story pop up today, I was honestly like intrigued, and that's the word I used in the chat. I think he's the good sort of curiosity factor. That if that name got announced, it would get enough eyes, it would get enough people watching, because I do honestly think Hugh Grant is sort of a sort of mystery, because he was so known for one type of like film or acting style in, was it the 90s or early 2000s, with the sort of dithering English man he played, and then he disappeared for ages, it felt like, and then some of the, you sort of said some personal stuff went on, and then he's only in the last 5 years or so come back to do really like well-known stuff. So I almost feel like just Hugh Grant as a person, as an actor, would be very interesting in regards to what would he do with the role. And I think that would be what would get me watching a Hugh Grant 14th Doctor. Just the pure, I don't know where he's going to go. And I think he would probably be, out of all the new Who Doctors, he would be the one that I think a lot of people would have that feeling about. That we would all just be wondering, is he going to be like light? Is he going to be dark? Is he going to be funny? Is he going to be serious? It would just be interesting, and the sort of debate around that. So I'd be up for it. I definitely would be, to see what he would do.
Yeah. Just before we continue with the rest of the panel, Peter Davison has dropped an Australian $50 super chat. So I'm going to read out this message that he's also left up. And if you want to add another comment as well, please do. I really do appreciate it. But he says, I visit a nursing home for my mother almost every day. 3.5 hours round trip sometimes. Apologies as I'm not always available, guys. Listen, family comes first, so I hope your mum
been there as well, so I know how that feels, and all the best to her.
But seriously, thank you very much. That is a very generous super chat. I really do appreciate it. And listen, I know you do be busy looking after your mum and stuff, so look, with all the crap that's going on in the world, family is important. Family always comes first. But thank you. I really do appreciate it. And it's nice to see you in here, I have to say. And our best wishes to everybody in your family. Lee, we'll go with you next on this, obviously, this Hugh Grant rumor. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I don't believe it.
You don't?
I don't. I just think that the chances of this being true, I mean, there might be some element of truth to it. There might be that he's in talks, absolutely, but him doing it, I don't know. Yes, I mean, he is 61. Not that I think that should be a barrier, especially as 61 now compared to 61 back in the 60s would be, a lot younger than someone 61 back in the day. Unless, of course, he had like younger, like male, female companions to do a lot of the legwork, I suppose. I mean, I'm not saying he's not fit, whatever, but you have to bear in mind his past. He's had a bit of a run-in with the law with a female escort, shall we say?
Yeah, but hold on. I want to ask you: should that matter when his career after that, like he did put out a public apology? Listen, whether you agree with it or not, and I've already seen people bring this up, especially from the other side. Like, fair enough, he might have broken the law.
No, I know that, but I mean, for a children's show, I mean, you've got these doctors, actors, vowing not to like drop F-bombs and things, whilst they're playing the doctor because of how impressionable it is for kids and blah blah blah. And I can just imagine this being used against them. Not that it should after all this time, but I'm just saying these things tend to haunt. So I don't know. Do I think that should be a barrier? No, I don't think so. But I'm just thinking outside the box in terms of how it could be treated. Again, also, it's not very common that at this stage that the press generally pick the right name out of the hat. And also, from what RTD had said already on Twitter, like not directly, but by liking someone's comment, blah, 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 saying that he's already cast the Doctor. So unless it's another Doctor that we don't know about, maybe there is truth to that. Maybe he's going to be in the special, or maybe he's going to be a Doctor of some description, like the John Hurt Doctor. Could be that.
Oh, it could just be Russell playing games.
It could be playing. It could.
Social media.
Let's get a big name, get Doctor Who in the trending, you know, in the media again, in the news, get people talking about it again. Could be that. Could be Hugh Grant needing to get his name out in the press because he's got something else coming up and he wants his name floating around so people remember who he is. Could be that. I mean, if it is him, let's just assume that it is true and it will be Hugh Grant. Would I be happy with that? I'm an agnostic. I'd have to. I mean, I'm so used to seeing him playing the dithering, blithering idiot. But I did watch the Scandalous. What is it called?
An English Scandal.
An English Scandal.
English Scandal or whatever.
That's it. Yeah,
but that's written by Russell T.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Now it also stars Ben Whishaw. Do you remember the rumor I said that he'd go with an older actor first and then bring in a younger actor? I reckon Hugh Grant, Doctor 14, Ben Whishaw, Doctor 15.
That'd be good.
I'm going to call it now. I actually am confident that it is Hugh Grant. I don't think this is different to other names that they've thrown out before. I don't think Hugh Grant really needs to do, Lee, what you said, get his name out there. I really don't. I think.
Well, I just think it's just too. I don't think this kind of thing would have leaked in this way. I just honestly don't think so.
No, I agree with you in that sense, Lee, because if you're to read the account...
I think RTD would be much more careful.
Well, no, but also, if you're to read the newspaper, he's in talks. He's not said he's going to definitely do it just off this source's own account.
Well, he might just be in talks to appear in it, not be the Doctor.
All I'm
thinking. Great intelligence again.
Yeah,
well, he's either the Doctor or he's playing the Master. Either one. He's either one of them. He's not coming in to play a different character. He's coming in to play either one. I just
think if you're coming out of the back end of like the worst period of Doctor Who history ever, you're gonna want to. Yeah, I can see why you want a big name, but you might. I think you'd want a younger actor to take the role. Not that I necessarily believe that the Doctor has to be young and dashing all the time, but I think just to really sort of break away from this nightmare we've been in for the last 5 years, which will be 6 years, you're going to need sort of a big wow factor.
Do you not think he's the wow factor, though?
He has the name. He has a lot of followers. He has a lot of fans. But I just, again, worry with someone with that kind of clout that you're sort of introducing an older, not older fandom, but another fandom into this fandom. You know what I mean? Like, we've already endured one.
That's true, but he did that in 2005, Lee.
Yeah.
With great
Are we going to have like a middle-aged, middle-class shipping fandom? The Love Actually crowd coming in.
At least with Hugh Grant, his fans are just fans of him as an actor. Like, there's no political, there's no...
Yeah, they're just fans of him.
I mean, if you bring in a well-known, named actor who's younger, and then their stands come in, that could also be another nightmare. So there's all this kind of thing I'm thinking.
But look, we can that's but here's the thing, that's always going to be the risk.
If he is cast, I'd of course I'd give him a go.
Give it a go, wouldn't you?
Nothing, as I said before in the chat, nothing could be worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that, but it probably could be worse. But I mean, generally it can't be worse. And I think he would be at least
interesting,
a more than competent actor to play a proper actor. I just hope that he doesn't sort of relive the try and relive the Love Actually thing and try to be the.
I don't think
romantic
he will,
doctor.
though. No, I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
He'd have to surprise me.
I think he's going to play this straight. I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he'll play this. And what I mean by that is I think he'll take it seriously. I think he'll really put thought, if he is in
all I want to say is I want to see him in Jodie Whittaker's costume.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Anyway, before this turns into a full-blown argument, we'll move on to Real Super Doctor. Get away, you, with the Jodie Whittaker costume.
I think this is a good casting choice if it's true. I think that they've got a potential to kind of introduce a bigger name to the role of the Doctor again. I think it's probably the right way to go after Jodie Whittaker, because the show losing a lot of fans like that. I think it's probably a good move by Russell T Davies, because he done that with the Master. He done that with Derek Jacobi and regenerating to John Sim, and how he could introduce the Master just like that. So I think he could use that as a kind of way to kind of introduce the Doctor again to a new audience, and from the older guy regenerating into a younger guy. It would establish the Doctor even further. I would think, and I think that Hugh Grant is probably the actor to do that. I think with all his kind of dithery acting that he did in the past, in a lot of films like Sirens, like Notting Hill, like About a Boy, and all of that, you can actually see that there are some Doctor traits in his acting. He's certainly an actor that could actually fit the role anyway, so it's a good choice. And even if it was cast as the Doctor, I don't think I would be disappointed, because at least they've got the right person to play the role. Yeah, I think it's a good choice.
TD?
Well, that's certainly explain the alternate Ninth Doctor, wouldn't it now? Finally became the Doctor and got numbered. Yeah, I'd welcome him, even though all this stuff in the past. But remember, we're not under BBC totally now. We're under Bad Wolf Productions and Sony, so it's up to Sony and Bad Wolf Productions now. But yeah, I'd welcome him. I think he'd make a good Doctor, especially after being a Great Intelligence.
Well, I do know that Sony won't have a problem working with him, because they were the main distributor to the very British or English Scandal, whatever it's called. So it's actually weird that there's a connection there. I just don't know. I just see that there's something different about this one. If he is in talks, or he already has been picked, and BBC has decided, or Bad Wolf or whoever's come up with the decision to leak something. Remember, RTD does do stuff like this, right? It's either a distraction or he has something bigger planned, right? So I mean, this just seems different, because every other person that I mentioned in the article has upcoming projects. I don't know if that's the same with Hugh Grant right now.
Yeah, so I've got a question. Like, so I was thinking about the timing of this, because, like I said, when I read it, I was like, right, so you're in conversations. So it hasn't been, if this is true, obviously, it hasn't been properly solidified yet. So why would a source, considering what sources are like when it comes to this sort of sensitive info, they're not the ones to leak it early. So that's just not the way a source behaves. So I was thinking, that's what I was thinking, and I don't know what you guys think. Could this be Russell or Bad Wolf or whoever's decided if it's true to basically test the water? Just to see what reaction is Hugh going to get, and if they see a really positive reaction.
I'll tell you what will be good out of this, and it's kind of an inverse of what I mentioned earlier about an influx of new fans, would be if Hugh Grant was the Doctor. Imagine all his fans came into this fandom, and any of the Jodie bots decided to have a pop in, they will be crushed in the millions by these people.
Look,
there's the chat as well. He's got a large female fan base.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. Look. There's some positives to this casting choice if it's true, and there would be some negatives that would come with it. But overall, I actually think Charlotte is onto something there. RTD is a very clever man, you see, right? It probably was leaked. The decision has already probably been made. It probably is Hugh Grant, but they've leaked it to see what kind of reaction it's going to get. Now, from the reaction that I've gotten, I've put his name is trending, so I went in and had a look, and mostly the comments are positive. Obviously, you have one or two that are saying he's slimy, he's this, that, and the other, and he shouldn't be the Doctor and all of this, and the usual kind of tweets that you'd expect. But overall, it's massively positive. So I don't know. Look, RTD is a clever man. We said that. We all know he is.
Yeah.
Right? We know what he's like. If this is him testing the water, right, and he's seeing what kind of reaction, then that's what probably Hugh Grant is waiting on as well.
Well, if he before
he signs on the dotted line, before he signs up to what he's agreed to sign up for. So it could be RTD and Hugh Grant, but both probably saying, let's test the water, throw the name out there, and let's see what happens.
Well, if he can get him, and he has had him before, and he's willing to do it, I'm willing to sit down and watch it. You know, I mean, why not at this point? I think it's potentially a good idea. I don't think anything could be worse. So, you know, I think it's a potential to be good.
Yeah,
and another thing as well. Go ahead, Charlotte. Sorry.
Well, no, the only thing that I can see as a real issue is I honestly don't think age as the actual number is an issue for a Doctor. I think it's if they look older than they actually are, because God love Peter, he looked a lot older than he actually was when he was in the role. Yeah. With the sort of the grey and the white hair and the sort of stark expressions he had.
And he was older than Hartnell.
Yeah. And I just think, and I think they wrote his Doctor to be old as well. So I think it was a lot of stuff that's compounding on each other. So I think if they can get a look to him that makes him look a bit younger.
Yeah.
And sort of doesn't lean into his age, I think the age won't be so much of an issue.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. Because number one, the only people it's going to be an issue to is all the ageist, sexist pigs out there, right? The bigots that have been harassing the fandom for months. He has a huge female following, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to follow where he goes, right? Then there's us, right? Where we've all on the panel said, yeah, we're willing to give him a go. So the majority of the fandom will be behind that decision too. So forget about these people that will be moaning about what he looks like. He might dye his hair, he mightn't dye his hair. We don't know if he play whatever, an older kind of Doctor or middle of the road Doctor or younger Doctor. We don't know, right? At the end of the day, that's all irrelevant. He's going to bring his own. This happened the last time with Christopher Eccleston. All the Christopher Eccleston fans followed. It'll be the same with the David Tennant fans. All of them that watched, you know, what was that bleeding show he was in? Casanova, right? All those female fans came over. It's going to be the same if it's Hugh Grant, if he's the Doctor, right? If it's true, right? He's going to bring his own fans. Forget about these fans of Jodie Whittaker, right? They've got a choice to either stick around and support the show now, or they screw off. It's as simple as that. But Lee is right about one thing. Be under no illusion that if these fans, if Hugh Grant is chosen, and his fans come into this fandom, there's no way they're going to tolerate the behavior of these Jodie Whittaker fans. They'll be putting
they're bad. Yeah, wait till
they'll be putting that place pretty quick enough. We won't have to even say anything, right? We can just go on and enjoy the show. Right, and that's all we've ever wanted to do, and forget about all the crap that's going on in the fandom. If we enjoy it, and the British public enjoy it, and the ratings go up, that's all that matters. Forget about a few screaming kids that have been screaming for 5 years. They've been given a voice, right? They've been given the platform. They're not getting the platform anymore. Russell T Davies is coming back because he's under full control, and he wouldn't be coming back if he hadn't got full creative control, right? He's not going to listen to us. He's not going to listen to them. He's not going to listen to anybody. He has a plan, and he will execute that plan to, well, I reckon he'll execute it off perfectly, but there are always ifs, buts, and maybes. But I am pretty confident that he will give us something brilliant. So, look, forget about those fans. This argument about these idiots is well gone now, right? Let them scream and shout. Nobody's listening to them anymore. This is why lately, few have decided to open their mouths again. But we're not going to give them any airtime. We're not going to give them any attention anymore. They don't deserve it, right? They turned this fandom into... They say we turned the fandom toxic. There was nothing toxic. There was nothing toxic about the fandom until Jodie Whittaker was cast, right?
Yeah.
And that happened when her fans, an influx of her fans came in, and all these radical feminists wrapped around this casting and then called everybody out that had a problem with it and created an environment that was unsafe for Doctor Who fans. So we don't have to listen. Listen, they'll be dealt with by all of his fans if it's true that in some ways I hope it is true now. I really do. Either him or another big name. I don't care. Whoever that person is, they'll have their own fans and let them fans deal with the rubbish that we've had to deal with for 5 years. We can just enjoy the show, sit back, relax, and enjoy Doctor Who again.
Yeah.
If it's up to the standard that we believe RTD can actually do it in, then we're in for a ride. We're in for the best time that we've had in a long, long time, right? And I want to enjoy it again. I'm not going to let any of these people bring us down anymore. It's done. I'm done with them.
No point. Yeah,
I'm done. Right. So let's just we'll see what happens. I'll keep an eye on this story. Obviously, everybody else on YouTube as well will be keeping an eye on this story, and we'll be keeping an eye on Hugh Grant's Twitter account just in case there's anything dropped there. He might rule himself out, because he is on Twitter. You'll see his name trending. If it's not true, I'm pretty sure he'd come out and probably say it. But at the same time, I'd always question that and say, well, if he's coming out ruling himself out, this could be a tactic. Let's be honest. I mean, the three lads, Spider-Man, right? That rumor was going around for fecking ages, yeah? Right? We all knew it was true, right? But yet they went on interviews and denied it down, told us all a lie. But obviously it was still great when it happened. But you know what I mean? So again, I'll always be suspicious, but I will be keeping an eye out for all that. But very interesting times ahead, I have to say. And again, we're coming up to Easter, and this has come out. There's something. I'm with Charlotte. I think there's something more happening. We just have to wait and see what there is, but there's something definitely going on. But exciting to look at. See how excited we actually are, though. Even though he mightn't be everybody's first choice, everybody has been pretty positive about it, and that's all we want: some positivity, And if look at, as I said in my last video, Doctor Who, if the actor was poor, the name itself could carry that actor, right? And for Jodie Whittaker, maybe for a season that was the case, but the name couldn't protect her anymore because basically Chibnall had run the show into the ground. It's a different story now. Before they wouldn't cast really a big name, if you know what I mean. But if you cast someone like Hugh Grant, he was a Hollywood A-lister. He has won awards. He is considered one of the best British actors out there. Now that's up for debate for some people, but he is considered. So, bringing in a big name, that's what needs to happen, because the Doctor Who name just doesn't have that gravitas anymore. The show is looked upon as a bit of a joke now, and the fandom is completely demoralized, and the ratings are completely down the toilet. So something has to happen, right? So you need that heavy hitter, and Hugh Grant for me, or Ben Whishaw even. Look I think that's what it's going to take. Those two worked with RTD before. He wrote that show, right? If his name is dropping, I'm telling you, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and getting 20, right? But I just see a pact that he's going to be the Doctor, and then Ben Whishaw will take over. I just have that funny feeling. I don't know why. It's a
good plan.
And by the way, we did manage to watch 2 episodes of that show tonight,
good, isn't it?
And I tell you, all of them are brilliant, right? The supporting cast as well. But Ben Whishaw and Hugh Grant, oh my God, man. The acting is stellar. Listen, if Hugh Grant, for me, I think has gotten better over the years as an actor. Look, he was a heartthrob back in the day, capitalized on that, did a lot of rom-coms. You can't begrudge him that, right? But there's a good actor there. And I've seen it tonight with that show. He is absolutely brilliant in this. And Ben Wishaw's performance, holy shit, man. What a talented man. I thought he was deadly as Q in James Bond.
Yeah.
But this Ben Whishaw fella is just another level. He plays the role so well. Listen, I agree with everybody. I wasn't sure about Ben Whishaw ever playing the Doctor. But yeah, he's convinced me. Go with Hugh Grant first, get that big name in. Then obviously Ben Whishaw is another big name, but he's an up and coming actor, but he's already been in major franchises. You stick him in as the 15th Doctor, I'm telling you, you're going global with this show.
Yeah, I just worry that it's going to get to a point where only A-listers can start playing this role if it takes off, and it's like I don't necessarily want that either.
I get what you're saying, but the thing about it is, if you read and hear about everything that's saying that they're kind of talking about or what's being rumored, they're kind of trying to follow the Marvel model, which is do this extended universe stuff. Again, for me, I do have worries. For me, I don't, while I want a better version of Doctor Who, yes, better writing, better production, and all of that. I don't want the show to lose its soul, and I kind of do agree with you on that one. If you do start bringing in big name actors, you're probably right. You'll probably have to do it every time, then, wouldn't you? To just kind of elevate even more.
I can see a Hugh Grant like actor for 14, and then once the show's back to a good standing, then they go with an unknown. I honestly think for me that would be my prediction, that we'll get a name actor first.
That'd be a good idea, though. I think that could work.
I don't know if it is going to be a 14th Doctor. I think at this point, some sort of hard reboot with a new cycle or something.
Could it be a version of the 9th Doctor, but in a different universe? He's probably start from 9 again and work your way up, so it doesn't kind of take away from what we already know about 9.
He could also be pigeonholing Jodie's Doctor by doing this.
It could be a way around it, the whole situation. Could be a way, but then that mean then he'd be focusing on fixing what Chris Chibnall was unable to do, which I don't really want him to get
into an easy
either.
Fix, though, going this way. It's an easy fix.
But look, as I said, though, this is going to be very interesting now. We'll see if any more names jump out. Look, this is the way I look at it, right? I'll agree with Lee if the Mirror, who originally broke the story, come out then with nonsense and saying that a source has said, oh, by the way, they've mentioned this person's name now. If they do that, then it's either clearly a tactic by someone within either Bad Wolf Productions or the Mirror is full of shit.
Are the bets still open? Because usually if the casting has been done, which was hinted by RTD on Twitter, which was never actually fully clarified, that means the bookies must close shop on that, surely.
I think the last official thing we heard, which wasn't him liking somebody's random tweet, the last official thing we heard was in an interview where it was around Christmas time, and he was saying auditioning was happening. So,
because I think the rules are if the word is that the Doctor has been cast, which was the inference from that tweet where that tweet was liked if by RTD.
Yeah, but the problem is, that's such an informal, like, it's nothing official.
I know, that's what I mean.
Like a random tweet, just so.
But you know how people took that from there on and as
yeah, but that's my point. I think Russell did that on purpose as a bit of a play, as a bit of a game.
Yeah, and now I think he regrets it because he's been getting nothing but,
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, the next few weeks is going to be very interesting now, because the closer we get to the Chibnall episode, I actually think we're going to get more info on the RTD era, to be quite honest with you. I honestly believe BBC know now, without a shadow of a doubt, that this era of Chibnalls is dead in the water. I don't actually think they care anymore. Because look at it.
Well, we don't.
Look, 2 million people. They know the show's in trouble, right? They had no choice but to hand the show over to someone that made it a success in 2005, right? That tells me everything I need to know. BBC Doctor Who is no more, and it's their own fault. And you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it for the 5 years. And I'll tell you why they deserve it. I'm not going into a big rant. I'm going to end with this. This is why the BBC deserve it, right? Just in case anybody wants to know why I hate them so much. I'll explain. It's not the fact that they just ruined Doctor Who and let this man do what he's done. It's the fact that in 5 years, not once did they come out and make a statement about how the fandom should behave after long-term fans, Peter Davison and others that didn't like this. Yeah, John Barrowman, the whole lot. Everybody that didn't like this era. Not one statement from them did we ever get to say, basically, this is not becoming of a Whovian or a Doctor Who fan. You don't behave in this manner.
Yeah.
Right? They continued for 5 years to pander to these racist bigots, right? All they do is project their own bigotry onto the rest of us and make us out to be the bad people when it's really them. And I really do pity them because they're all insecure. They'll never amount to anything, most of them anyway. That's the sad thing. And they need to feel wanted, and they need to be pandered to feel something. Right, so that's why I hate the BBC so much. Not once did they come out and say this was wrong. They continued to pander to these people, and still to the end, with 2 episodes to go, Chibnall has decided to abandon the fandom basically and pander to these idiots for another 2 episodes.
Another reason why I think the BBC deserve it is because they allowed themselves to be captured by these ideologues within the BBC. They deconstructed their number one cash cow. Not only is it their number one cash cow, but it's also at that point 50 odd years of lore and history and
shut down the toilet.
Think about that. Like the longest running science fiction TV show in
the world.
A British and now international institution, and they just
shut down
devalued it. Yeah. And that's unforgivable.
Yeah,
that's why it's wrestled away from them because clearly, I mean, they've never known what to do with it, but like at least when it was on in the classic run, it still had that veneer of public love and support, and the BBC allowed it to go on as long as it did. So even though Grade came in and kicked it to the curb, it had a good run because it was adored. you know, and then you turn something that was adored into something of a Frankenstein monster of itself.
Yeah.
And then tell us it's the most inclusive and diverse it's ever been, yet less and less people watched it. What does that tell you?
That's it. Have a lovely dinner, Chris. Have a lovely dinner. Right, with that, we're going to do the channel shout outs. We'll go around the panel. But thank you guys for giving us your input. That was very interesting conversation. And you know what? We made sure we left it to the end, because I think if people are here for the watch alongs, it is a bit unfair that I chat for 40 odd minutes or so. And then so we do the episode. We just try and we have been getting better. I think over the last few weeks we've done really well. We started straight away and had the chat after the fact. So I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, if you want to hear my thoughts on the whole Hugh Grant situation, I did do a live stream earlier on. If you want to go back and check that out, please do. And if you haven't subscribed still, what the hell are you doing? You know, you're missing out. You're definitely missing out. You know, the most honest channel on YouTube. I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass. It's a fact. You know, we don't sugarcoat shit on this channel. Do you know what I mean? Shit is shit, and that's the end of it. So yeah, I want to thank me panel as always, and everybody in the chat. But let's go around the table. We'll start off with the one and only Queen Charlotte. So go ahead.
So you'll catch me here for the watch alongs, and then on the Spacebook of Type 40, both podcast and live stream, which we're back next week for a little bit until Easter. I think is the next time we're going to go and break. So you'll catch me there. Oh, I'm sorry, my brain. And Daniel Leach's channel. We're back with Line of Duty Friday coming up.
Fantastic, the legend. He has been watching me FIFA streams, so a big shout out to the legend. He picked Spain for me, so I'm playing for Spain, so I'm playing for his honor. Anyway, next we have the one and all. We'll just get it over and done with. Problem being,
yes.
Sorry, it just feels weird, man, asking you when I know it's kind of like, you know, should I ask him? Shouldn't I ask him?
You can't find me on Twitter.
That's why I didn't put it down.
Yeah, for anyone I wanted to know, I was having there was a thread discussion going on Twitter on a gay man's thread about gay man shit, and we got dogpiled by basically a bunch of trans and queer activists who were trying to tell us that homosexuality isn't inclusive enough, and that if a gay man does not accept a gay man with a vagina, you're not a homosexual anymore. So if we don't consent to heterosexuality, then we're bigots. And this went on for over a week, non-stop, 24/7 from these people. It was a concerted attack. Then 2 days ago, it was full on, right? They just infested the whole thing and mass reported me for standing up for, and this was going on for, it reduced me to tears at one point, actually, during that week. It was very hard to continue. But they kept up their concerted campaign. They clearly have people working in Twitter who sided with them, even though I had reported a bunch of them for their homophobia. Not a single report that I put in was upheld, but clearly theirs were. So that's what happened.
So basically, to make it clear, there's people out there taking credit in the Doctor Who fandom for having Lee's account suspended. That is not true at all. Want to make that clear, but we'll move on. And thank you for that, Lee. And as everybody has said,
please no hashtags for me. Look, I appreciate that. I love you guys, but please, if you're going to do anything for me, challenge Twitter on this. Don't get yourselves into trouble. But seriously, the issue is there is a huge campaign against gay and lesbian people who are gender critical, not transphobic, but gender critical, because we don't think that we should be told that homosexuality includes heterosexual sex, that we should accept opposite sex characteristics in our dating pools by force. And that's what is happening. So please just, if anything, target Twitter, make people aware of what's happening there. Look, I'm not asking for people to understand fully the situation. And like, it's all heterosexual people don't know what the fuck is going on. I understand that this isn't about trans people. This is about certain activists who are loudmouths who claim to speak for trans people. They're not. They're speaking for themselves and for their ideology, and it's not the same thing at all. So I just want to make that clear, and that's it.
Thank you, Lee. Really appreciate that, pal. And as I said, do what he says, folks. There's no point in targeting individuals out there. At the end of the day, it is these platforms that are the problem and the issue, not the people on them. They allow those people to grow and fester on them, whereas they should be a bit more,
I am making steps, by the way. I'm not letting this go.
I
won't be back anytime soon, but I have emailed certain people, and I have had an email back, let's say.
As I said, I didn't give that away on Twitter, but this will Lee is trying to get this resolved because there is an injustice there, and hopefully
it's corporate sponsored homophobia. It's corporate fascism, as far as I'm concerned, because when the corporate and state are interfering in the sovereignty of individuals, that's a massive problem. And when it skews one direction and overrides my rights protected by law under the Equalities Act of 2020, there is a serious breach of the law by Twitter.
2010.
Okay. Right. As I said, hopefully it's all sorted and we get an update off you soon. Hopefully it goes your way. But PD, you're next.
Yeah, you can find me in Rabbi's chat. I think Rabbi's now streaming at 5 o'clock on Sundays. So I think it's more of a semi-permanent thing now. I don't know if it's going to be permanent. He hasn't told me yet. Hasn't told me anything, actually, but that's Rabbi. But you can also find me next week, not this Monday, next Monday on Dave Travels Through Time, and we're doing Stargate SG-1. Also, if you could go and subscribe to Drawing Jack Rabbit on Jack's channel, I'll put his channel in the live chat.
Yeah, it's a great channel. Go and check him out and subscribe.
Yeah, Jack's very talented.
Real Super Doctor.
You can find me on Twitter under Real Super Doctor, and I've got a YouTube channel under Real Super Doctor.
Absolutely fantastic. And you can find me here, and PD Rich has been throwing the links into all of the channels. So if you haven't subscribed to any of the YouTube channels thrown in, please do. And if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, as I said, what the hell are you doing? Get subscribing. Plenty more of these streams to come. Wait, PD Rich Stargate, where you'll have to tell Tim he's looking forward.
Yeah. You can come on if you want. Ask Dave next week and come on.
And Peter Davison says, hey, Noel, I will DM you on my new Twitter account. Fantastic. I'll look out for that. No problem. It'd be nice to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're keeping well and safe. So, guys, that's it. We have finished the name of the Doctor. Sure, it was actually a lot better than I thought. But there you go. We were 2 weeks from now. We roll on to the 50th anniversary. This one, the 50th is a bit of a mixed bag for me. But over the years, as you know, I've kind of warmed to it more and more. So, I was getting to the point where I was really starting to like it. So, let's see. I know for a fact the Tom Baker cameo always gets me. I will say that. But we'll leave it there, folks. We'll talk to you very soon. Thank you all, everybody in the chat, for joining us. And a very special thank you to Peter for that super chat. And I hope everything works out with your mum. And as I said, make sure you give yourself a bit of time to rest as well and eat, because, I know what it feels like to go and travel a long distance to meet a loved one that's not too well, it's yeah, it can take a lot out of you. So look after yourself as well. That's just as important as well. But we will leave it there, folks. Good night. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.